10 Best Places to Visit in Turkey. From sun-drenched beaches to lush, forest-covered mountains, vibrant and bustling cities to ancient ruins, Turkey is a country with an incredible amount to offer. The country boasts a startling 18 UNESCO World Heritage Sites with so many more historical places and sites set to blow your socks off in absolute awe and wonder. A country dripping in history and culture, Turkey has a complete array of stunningly beautiful places awaiting you. There is far more to Turkey than the packed holiday resorts. Explore the sites away from the crowds to find ancient architecture and some extraordinary landscapes. From snow-like natural wonders to hippie beach retreats. Here is our list of the best places to visit in Turkey. 10. The Blue Lagoon, Ölüdeniz. The Blue Lagoon in Ölüdeniz is on the list of Turkey's top UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The gorgeously vibrant, turquoise water within the lagoon boasts a tremendous array of different shades of blue-gray with a thin finger of beautiful white sand that curves around the water. Add in a gorgeous mountainous backdrop and you'll understand why this beach is considered to be one of the most beautiful places in Turkey and is one of the most photographed too. For this reason, it can be extremely busy with visitors. If you're after a more spacious way to view this site, why not consider taking to the skies and trying your hand at paragliding, soaking up the spectacular views from the air. 9. The Lycian Way, Fethiye to Antalya. Located on Turkey's Takay Peninsula, known historically as Lycia, the Lycian Way is a footpath that spans across 540 kilometers of mountains, coastline, and valleys from Fethiye to Antalya. A well-marked out path takes you past many major archaeological sites, stretches of beautiful coastline and gorgeously lush pine forests, and hiking the entire way would take you around a month to complete. If you decide to walk this path, the route will take you past historical sites from the Greek culture and Roman empires that date back to 8 BC, passing through traditional villages that seem untouched by tourism where you can find food and other supplies. Your accommodation options whilst on this path are guest houses, village homes and basic B&Bs. Although, we might suggest camping as a fantastic option, and depending on your location, it can be the easiest option whilst walking the way. It is possible to walk only parts of the way, and depending on your hiking experience, you could choose the eastern part for the tougher hike, especially close to Fethiye are particularly tricky. The western part would be more suitable if you are not as experienced, as this is the easier section of the way. The best time to go would be either in the spring March to May or in the autumn months of September to October. That way you're not walking in the sizzling summer heat and avoid the larger crowds of tourists. Experiencing walking along the Lycian Way is a really special way to take in so many of the sights to see in Turkey. 8. Konya. From incredible architecture, great food and some of the oldest mosques in Turkey, this is a brilliant city for you to load up on culture. Konya is the Islamic capital of Turkey and home of the world-famous spiritual poet Rumi. Known to the Turkish people as Mevlana Dash, the Sainted One, and his tomb is kept within the Mevlana Museum. This mystic and Sufi saint loved all religions and followed his own religion, which was love, and his followers are known as the whirling dervishes. The whirling is a form of sama, a physically active meditation, and is also called Sufi spinning. The dervishes listen to music, whilst focusing on God, and spin their body in repetitive circles, which is a symbolic imitation of the planets orbiting the sun. This spinning dance represents a spiritual journey to enlightenment in which the dervishes aim to reach the source of all perfection. They seek through abandoning their egos and personal desires to find truth and cultivate inner peace, so in turn, they can foster peace and world harmony. Known as the Heart and Soul City, no trip would be complete without a visit to Konya, one of Turkey's best cities. 7. Cappadocia. High on the Anatolian plateau, Cappadocia's curious landscape resembles that of a fantasy world. The rugged mountains, vast plains, and the formation of its valleys and landscape have been shaped by the frequent eruption of 3 volcanoes and created from layers of deposits of lava, volcanic ash and basalt. Earthquakes and effects of erosion have contributed to the creation of Cappadocia's famous fairy chimneys. Tall cone-shaped honey-colored rocks that have been slowly eroded into stunning sculptural forms that resemble minarets. The history of Cappadocia is as rich and remarkable as its landscape. The first dwellers in this region were troglodytes or cave dwellers during the Bronze Age who carved out cave houses, churches and monasteries from this soft volcanic rock, creating settlements underground. The cave houses were then used later on in history by Christians fleeing Roman persecution. Nowadays, locals in Cappadocia now inhabit many of these cave houses and treat them as their permanent homes. Cappadocia is one of the best places in Turkey for families to meet in a unique tourist environment, a place for you to make some memories of a lifetime. If you thought that the views were spectacular from the ground, imagine the mesmerizing view from 3,200 feet above the ground in a hot air balloon. 6. Sumela Monastery, Trabzon. Nestled in a cliff, 1,200 meters above sea level is where you'll find the Sumela Monastery in Trabzon province on Turkey's Black Sea coast, which is said to be more than 1,000 years old. This Greek Orthodox ministry, built in the year 346 AD, holds both cultural and historical significance and is a prominent tourist attraction. Dedicated to the Virgin Mary, built to house an icon of her that was believed to possess miraculous properties. Built high into a cliff, access to the building is via a steep path through the forest and then via a narrow stairway. The principal areas of the monastery are the rock church, kitchens, students' rooms, a library, several chapels as well as a holy water fountain. Both the inside and outside walls of the church have been covered in intricate and detailed frescoes that depict biblical scenes from the lives of the Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ. The murals of the chapel were painted in 3 different periods, on 3 different levels, with most of those that are visible today dating back to the 18th century. In 2000 the monastery was added to the UNESCO World Heritage tentative list and has been closed to the public since 2015 for safety reasons. However, the site was partially reopened in July 2020 after the completion of major restoration works. This part of northeastern Turkey is quite unique, with nearby Trabzon not only lying close to the Black Sea but also the epic Pontic Mountains passing through it. It's an area of Turkey that has been sprinkled with bouts of silence and a lot of beauty. 5. Artvin. Artvin sits by the Black Sea, on the border of Georgia, and is yet another one of the beautiful places to visit in Turkey. Surrounded by mountains, some reaching 4,000 meters, its dreamlike landscape carved by the Sora River, one of the longest running in Turkey, is full of rock formations, steep valleys and forests of tall pine trees that will completely mesmerize all who visit. This is a truly breathtaking place and among the wonders that everyone should see at least once. This part of Turkey is also the area where you can find the Laz people. It's a culture that has its very own language, called Laz, that has been classified by UNESCO as an endangered language. The Laz people have their own traditions. One of them involves the tulum, a form of Turkish bagpipe that people dance the horon to. I visited this gorgeous place and met Evrim, the owner of a hostel there, see below, who is a descendant of the Laz people of Turkey. I also had the honor of meeting Evrim's father, who told me all about the history and culture of the Laz people, recited some beautiful Laz poems and taught me some Laz words too. 4. Bursa, Cumalikizik. Cumalikizik is a UNESCO World Heritage Town, 20 minutes from Bursa. Perched in the hills on the foot of the Ulyadeg mountain, the cobblestoned and narrow streets of this 700-year-old village remain largely untouched and have been well preserved. This little village is another one of the many well-visited tourist places in Turkey, with streets lined with traditional houses. The higher you walk up, the less crowded it becomes. The friendly reputation of the local villagers, some of who have turned their homes into family-run eateries, precedes them and draws you into this charming Ottoman hamlet, offering you a peek into the traditional Turkish way of life. Bursa, known as Yeşil Bursa, Green Bursa, due to the high number of parks and mountains surrounding it, was also once the capital of the Ottoman state. 3. Ephesus. History lovers gather round, you do not want to miss out on visiting the ruins of Ephesus and the surrounding area, which was once an ancient Greek city. It's not only the biggest area of excavation in the world but also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Located just outside of Selçuk, it was once considered to be the most important Greek city and trading center in the Mediterranean region. Few ancient landmarks stand quite as impressive as the ruins of this ancient city. Immerse yourself in the ancient history of this place. Although thousands of years have gone by, it is nearly impossible not to be impressed by the history and remains of this once bustling city. It's also worth visiting the Temple of Artemis, Temple of Hadrian, and the Basilica of St. John. Whilst in the area, Ephesus is open to visitors every day of the week, and visiting hours may vary depending on the summer and winter seasons. To Pamukkale. The mineral white forests of petrified water, series of terraced warm pools of water and the numerous waterfalls that connect all these pools together make for a pretty dreamlike landscape in southwestern Turkey. The terraces have been created from layers of travertine, white sediment that has been deposited by the hot springs that over time have solidified and become solid. Platforms, cliffs, and terraces have been formed, entirely made up of this sediment, and you can understand why this place is called Cotton Castle in Turkish, as they appear together as some kind of giant, white castle. The temperature of the water that flows from the springs is roughly between 35 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius, and you can bathe in mostly all of the 17 springs. They have been drawing visitors since the 2nd century BC. And it's been said that Cleopatra herself bathed in these very pools. Another one of Turkey's impressive World Heritage Sites, this open-air spa makes for a completely unique and ancient UNESCO experience. 1. Istanbul. It's most likely that you'll begin your trip in the city of Istanbul, city that straddles east and west, divided by the Bosphorus Strait that splits the city into two separate parts. The only city in the world that can lay claim to residence on two different continents, Asia and Europe, Istanbul really is one of the most unique cities in the world. With over 2,500 years of traditions, history and incredible landmarks, this city is a complete cultural melting pot. Istanbul has been the capital of 4 empires, and the remains of each of these empires can still be seen today. Many buildings and landmarks from Istanbul's opulent past remain intact today, and the cultural heritage of the city is highly impressive. Go and marvel at the beautiful Hagia Sophia, a Byzantine structure that was originally built as a Christian church in the 6th century CE, 532 to 537, under the direction of the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I. In later centuries it then became a mosque, a museum, and then a mosque once more. This building reflects the religious changes that have happened over the centuries, boasting both inscriptions of Islam as well as lavish mosaics of Christianity. The Blue Mosque is another of the city's world-renowned landmarks, named famously after the blue tiles that surround its walls. Built between 1609 and 1616, this building still holds high importance to the history of the Ottoman Empire. Daily prayer services still occur in the mosque, so why not go and spend some time there, say a prayer and embrace the architectural beauty. Other top tourist attractions are the Grand Bazaar, the largest covered market in the world, the Topkapi Palace and Museum, where you can view the imperial collections of the Ottoman Empire, and then head up the Galata Tower to take in the view of the cityscape. Whether it's the only destination on your list, Istanbul really is one of the best cities to visit in Turkey.